Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Umineko When They Cry, episode 4. So last time, Kinzo gave something to the remaining survivors. A chance to survive this ritual. So he's gonna give a test to the remaining kids. Not the remaining kids, but the 4 kids. Butler, Jessica, George, and Maria, I suppose. And if they pass, or even if at least one of them pass and deemed to be okay or good to be a successor to the Oshirimiya family, he will call off the whole ritual. So that is going to be interesting to see. But in today's episode, we are in the future again with Enje. It's 1998. So let's continue. The clinic that Nanjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Nijima. This aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different.
わざわざお越しくださり、誠に申し訳ないのですが、特にお話しすることはありません。
Nanjo Masayuki, Nanjo's son. Okay. Nanjo's son said that very indifferently.
あの島の事故がワイドショーなどで非常に不謹慎に取り上げられて以来、後ろ宮市の主治医であり友人でもあった父にも大変心外な関心が多数寄せられました。そのいずれもが何の根拠もなく、また父のそれまでの業績を汚すものでした。私はそれら全てについて未だに強く憤慨しています。
無理もないことと思います。私も同じようなものですので。私など6つの時から延々です。
そうでしたね。これは失礼。
The doctor finally remembered that Enje was also a victim who had been exposed to the same curious eyes as he had been.
そんなあなたなら当時の件にもう関わりたくないという私どもの気持ちもお分かりでしょう。あれは不幸な事故でした。それを事件だと騒ぎ立てたがるのは無責任なテレビと雑誌だけです。彼らの態度には心底うんざりさせられますよ。
But the thing is, what I want to know is how many I'm not sure, but like how many bodies did they find? I mean, I guess maybe some they found and then some they didn't find, because yeah, in this episode, like someone mentioned, like if you've been missing for a couple years, then you're deemed already dead, right? So maybe some of the bodies of the people there in Rokinjima Island was found and some of them were gone, right? But I want to know exactly if they are found or not. I'm not sure. I'm just making or theorizing about this. Nanjo had been bathed with attention of being one of Oshirimiya Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there was probably an aggressive and persistent rush among the witch hunters and the press to use Nanjo's son as well, a surviving relative, as a source of information. What would someone's son, in this case Nanjo's son, know about what happened on the island? Like his dad is just gonna say, yes, I'm gonna go to an island, go check up on Kinzo, and that's it. What else could you know? The doctor went on and on, criticizing the press indignantly.
お気持ちよくわかります。私生活に至るまで監視を受け、プライバシーも肖像権も、果ては人権さえも認められてたかわからない私ですから、そのやり場のないお怒り、よくお察しできます。だからこそ、私の人生をここまで台無しにしたあの事件は、一体何だったのか、どうしても知りたいのです。それでここへ来ました。私もあなたと同じ当事者です。雑誌記者でもインタビュアーでもありません。そこを誤解しないでください。私は道楽でこんなところまで来たんじゃない。私を見下すのもいい加減にしてください。あの事件で狂わされた人生の傷跡比べをするならば、私とあなたでは比べ物にもならない。
You're no match for me. I mean, yeah, Angie got it worse. especially with Ava treating her like that growing up, right? Enje spoke sharply. The doctor, who hadn't imagined that he would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, couldn't help but fall silent. From Enje's perspective, the doctor really was whining over nothing. She really didn't want to be looked down upon. It was about time to let him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he'd said something wrong and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable.
当時のことを思い出すのは苦痛でしょうが、ご存知のことがあったら何でも教えてください。もちろん口外はしません。私は私の人生に決着をつけるために今日ここへ訪れています。私は18です。あの事件は私の人生の12年を奪った。そしてこれからも奪い続けるでしょう。私は6歳のあの日からずっと暗闇に放り込まれたままなんです。
I mean, yeah. She was 6 years old. It was normal life. Normal rich life. And then, yeah, suddenly everything is just gone. Every member of your family, mom, dad, brother, everyone just gone. So, yeah, pretty much like time stopped, I guess.
そんな私でも知る権利がないとおっしゃるんですか？
いや、失敬。たちの悪い連中ばかりが来ていたので、私もつい身構えてしまったようです。失敬したのをお詫びします。わかりました。他言無用を誓っていただけるなら何でもお話しします。
ありがとう先生。ではお願いします。何でも結構です。
知っての通り、父は後宮氏の主治医であると同時にチェスを通じた友人同士でもありました。
Yes.
その親交は後宮氏が六軒島に移り住んできた当時からのとても長いものでした。
どのくらい仲が良かったのですか？
相当だったようです。チェスの縁で先方の屋敷に厄介になることも少なくなかったようです。私の口から言うのもなんだが、後宮氏は非常に気難しい方でした。そして父はそんな人間と付き合うのに長けた非常におおらかな人だった。孤独な後宮氏にとって稀な友人であったことは想像に難しくないでしょう。
当日は親族会議でした。後宮家の親族会議は資産やその運用などについて厳しく問われるさながら経営会議のようなものだったとされています。そのような席にまで出席を求められるほどに南條先生は信頼を得ていたわけですね。
父は純朴な医師であり、後宮家のような富豪の財産運用について助言できるような立場にあったとは思えません。おそらく当時の後宮氏は健康状態が優れられなかったでしょうから、その買い添えとして呼ばれていたのでしょう。親友の父ならおそらく口も固く、親族会議上の秘密もきっと漏らさないと信頼されていたに違いない。
当時の後宮金蔵はかなり健康状態が悪かったのでしょうか？カルテが残っていたりはしますか？
事故の当日はカルテを持参していたのでしょう。後宮氏のカルテは残念ながらフォルダごと失われています。父のクラン家ですし、私も詳しいことは分かりません。
事件の前後、何か気になるようなことはありました？
あるにはあります。ですが非常に誤解を招きそうなのであまり言いたくはありません。
何ですか？それを教えてください。
For a while, the doctor beat around the bush. But after saying that much, he wouldn't be able to fool Angie by dodging the subject. He eventually gave in, and after making Angie swear herself to secrecy again, told her.
実はあの事故の数日後に私の自宅に郵便が届いたのです。
Okay.
郵便？
それはとても奇妙な郵便でした。
So Ushiramiya mail.
差出人が私になっているのですが、それは身に覚えのないものでした。何者かが私の名を語って出したということです。
Someone had faked my name and sent it.
宛先は北海道の礼文島。北方領土の話を抜きにすれば、日本の最北端の島です。
Wait, what? Let me understand again. Several days after the accident, I received something by mail at my home. It was very curious. The sender was made out to be me, but I had no memory of it. Okay. Rebun Island in Hokkaido.
その宛先人がなんと礼文島の住所ではありますが、父の名前だったのです。
The name was my father's. What?
しかし送付先住所が間違っているらしく、住所不明の付箋が貼られて、
So it was stamped as address unknown and then it was returned to him.
差出人である私のところへ戻ってきたわけです。
Okay, that's why it said, but that's why he said earlier the name of the sender was him. Oh my god. Mystery time. Nanjo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had faked his name and sent it. The destination was Nanjo Terumasa on Hokkaido's Rebun Island. But the lot number written on it didn't exist. So the local post office had been unable to deliver it and instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son.
中身は何だったんですか？
Does he still have the letter?
本当に他言無用でお願いします。
Okay.
私も非常に迷惑しているんです。かといって捨てるわけにもいかず。
Show it. The doctor stood up and faced a bookshelf. There was a packed group of dictionaries that can only be or have been ornamental, meant to make it very clear that the owner was an intellectual. When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large brown envelope peeked out from behind them. He took that out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been carefully sealed with the cellophane tape, and its faded color and dryness made it clear that it had been sealed 12 years ago.
くれぐれも他言無用でお願いします。
Yes, just show it to us. Being so persistent that it was annoying. True, he keeps saying, please be silent, please be silent. The doctor removed the seal with a paper knife. Then, when he tilted the envelope, an already opened mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had a weight to it, hinting that there was something other than a letter inside. The recipient was certainly Nanjo Terumasa. Just seeing that was a huge shock. Following the incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found. Oh, okay. And he had eventually been treated as dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, this letter addressed to a Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One could almost take this as a sign that he faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido.
南條先生は本当に北海道に存在を？あるいは同姓同名の人物が北海道に？
But the big mystery is who sent this though. That's the thing.
父が何かの事情で事故を逃れ、北海道で存命していたのだとしたら、私たち家族にとっては事情に関わらず嬉しいことです。私も初めはその可能性を考えました。しかし、この封筒の送付先住所は存在しないのです。
Okay, let me go back here a little bit. I want to see how many days it has been again. several days. Okay, several days. It didn't say exactly how many days, like 5 days, 6 days, several days after the accident.
つまりこの封筒は届くはずのない郵便なのです。
送付者が正しい住所を書き損じた可能性は？
もちろん否定はできません。ですが、住所の番地を見る限り、どうもそうは思えないのです。
北海道礼文島礼文郡礼文町 1-2-34-567
It definitely fake 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up until Rebun City, it's fine, but I couldn't just wipe away the feeling that the sequential number after it, yeah, was a little insincere. It felt like a fake number that some kid had made up. So, I guess the intended recipient was Nanjo's son anyway, right? But why did the sender not just send it directly to this person, right? And then maybe he could have faked it? No, faked it as, let's say, in the opposite way. Like, Nanjo Terumasa was the one who sent it to Nanjo's son, to his son right here. Right? Rather than the opposite, that the son sent the letter to his father in Hokkaido. Because yeah, it just seemed like the intended receiver was the son anyways.
おそらく明らかに存在しない住所をデタラメに書いたのでしょう。この封筒は初めから存在せず届くはずのない住所に送付されたと考えるのが自然だと思います。
Yeah, it had no chance of being delivered anyways. If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of an incomplete address, the local post office will often courteously and to the best of its ability research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. It seemed that the same thing had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked on October the 3rd. Wait, October the 3rd? So it was sent way before the incident. It was postmarked on Nijima. Nijima was a long way from Rebun Island. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, probably a high chance that the envelope returned to the sender after an unfixed amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was that had been sent, the envelope was already wrapped in mystery. Yeah.
中身は？
And yes, this one, postmark on October the 3rd.
どうぞ。
Okay. After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted their already open envelope. From the inside, it came a small folder, a letter, and a small key with a number plate attached. Then a magnetic card slid out. A112 was engraved on the key number plate. I didn't know what it meant. The magnetic card was pitch black and had gold characters engraved in it. Members was written in English. The jet black gold letter card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. I unfolded the letter. Its contents were extremely brief and only the following was written. Wait. I gotta write this down, man. What is this? I gotta write this down. This is gonna be important. But what was it again? A1112? Let me write it. A1112 07151129. This is gonna be, I may be helpful for the story later on, right? Also written was the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan as the word Central Branch. So maybe it's a code for something. I mean, it definitely is a code, but yeah, for for something in the bank. I mean, that was all.
これは
Because yeah, she said there was a key as well, right?
貸金庫のカードと鍵、そして暗証番号でした。
Yeah, exactly. A safety deposit box.
それも普通の貸金庫ではない。特別な顧客のみに許されているらしい不気味な貸金庫でした。
After he finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he had visited the bank. Pin and key and card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was kept there, and he had been naturally curious about what it might be. At first, he hadn't known what to do. The card wasn't something he'd owned in the first place. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status and was guided to a large vault on the 4th basement. The security on the way there was very strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items such as real estate transcripts in the safe deposit box before. But this was something on a different level.
私の使っている貸金庫の手続きと違い、カードと暗証番号、そして鍵を持っているならば、本人確認は行われないというシステムでした。ですが、とにかく厳重な金庫室で、その物々しさに怯えました。こんなところに預けざるを得ない、どんな物騒なものが待ち受けているのかと。
それで
カードをリーダーに通すと、暗証番号の入力を求められました。そしてそこにある8桁の数字を入力すると認証され、金庫室への入室が認められました。すごい光景でしたよ。まるで SF 映画のような世界だった。
A sci-fi movie.
薄暗い銀色の広大な部屋に、びっしりと金庫の扉が埋め尽くされているのです。
He had entered that room along with the clerk. It seems that as soon as the card was read, the vaults he had a right to were determined. So the safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one.
A11 にはそれらの金庫のうちの一つを示すものでした。ちなみにそれ以外の金庫にもずらりと緑ランプが点灯していました。20個以上はあったと思います。
20 safes.
あるいは他の一角にももっとあったのかも。いずれにせよ、私の鍵は A11 にのみ。
So for the card only, it can open it. You have access to like 20, but he only had one key. I mean, only for one safe.
他の金庫の中身を確かめる術はありませんでしたが。
The suspense, man. Just tell me what is inside. As the clerk watched, the doctor had unlocked and opened the safe. When he did, a safe drawer like a large cabinet had opened, and an expensive-looking duralumin case picked out. What is that? That was carried into a separate room where for the first time the clerk left, and he was introduced to the contents.
中身は
現金でした。
Cash?
現金
How much?
どれほど
新札の100万円の束はちょうど厚みが1センチになると聞いたことがあります。それがこれだけのジュラルミンケースの中にびっしり詰められていたのですから、多分1億はあったでしょう。
100 million, god damn.
数えたわけではないから分かりません。手すら触れませんでしたから、私はすぐに直感しました。これは危険な金だと。
But yeah, this is kind of scary though. I would be excited, but I would be scared as well. Like, where did this come from? Right? Like money that it just doesn't drop to you for no reason, and you're getting 100 million. It isn't normal to store a whole 100 million yen in cash in a case in a safe like that. It's much easier to deal with it if you put it into an account and turn it into numbers. When someone is unable to do that, then it's clear that there's something wrong with that cash.
私は頭が真っ白になり、すぐに関わり合ってはならないと直感しました。
So I guess he left the money there.
それで一切手をつけなかった。
はい。そのまま施錠し直し、元の金庫に預けて立ち去りました。この鍵やカードも捨てようと思いましたが、何が起こるかわからない。
Me personally, I would just keep it. Like if there was a time that I would need it, maybe it would be handy, right? Like 12 years has passed anyways, and nothing happened. Maybe you could use it if necessary.
そのため、誰にも内緒で12年もの間、本棚の裏に隠し続けてきたのです。
I mean, it's not gonna go anywhere, right? Yeah.
あれが何の金だったのか、私にも未だにわかりません。
Like it's scary money that I wouldn't touch instantly.
この封筒をお借りすることはできますか？
いえ、この場で見るだけにしてください。
わかりました。では、ちょっと失礼します。調べ物を。
Okay. I took Onechan's grimoire from the knapsack I had set down. Then I opened to the page with the paragraph Beatrice had written to Onechan and compared the handwriting in both. It's the same? There was no mistake about the characteristic handwriting. The one who had sent this 100 million yen in cash was Beatrice herself. But what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What could it be? Oh my god, man. Who the hell is this? Okay. So here's my theory now. It said here, but yeah, up there, that then the envelope was sent, or the post stamp or whatever, right? It was dated October the 3rd. Before even the events of the Rokinjima family conference, that thing, right? So what I'm thinking here is, and yes, as NJ is what do I call this? Checking, the characteristic handwriting was the same. Oh yeah. So pretty much this grimoire was given to Maria by Beatrice, right? So it was the same handwriting. So she sent this 100 million yen to the son of Nanjo. So if we put this in like realistic to human world, this Beatrice, this, let's say, this culprit, right, knew that something was gonna happen that day. Let's remove the magic, let's make it real, right? Knew that something was gonna happen that day, sent money, and yeah, maybe people would die, maybe expected, right? Maybe expected people would die, and with Nanju being there, sent his son some money because, yes, if he would have died, at least he would get something, right? God damn, man, this is so cool. This is really cool. From the bottles earlier in the episode and now this one, we're getting, yeah, the real Beatrice sent money to the family member of a person on the island. But yeah, who is this first? Let's talk about it later. Who's this?
そんな郵便物が確か届いた気がしますわ。
Okay, another one. This guy got a mail as well. Whose family member is this?
母ちゃん、あれはどこにしまったっけな?
The same envelope and contents have been sent to Kumasawa's son. See, and now it's Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her. Oh my god. So, yes, this culprit, this golden witch, this Beatrice, expected something was gonna happen that day anyways, right? We don't really know how it happened that day, But yes, it involved, I don't know what to say, but yeah, it involved money for sure, right? I mean, it definitely involved money. And had sent money in advance to the members of the servants for them to get something at least in case, not in case, probably known that, yeah, their family members would die in the island. They gave 100 million to the doctor. How about this guy? But he had been very busy in the days since and seemed to have forgotten about it while running around all over the place. However, its strange contents had apparently stayed in his memory and he remembered as soon as Anjim mentioned it to him. After a bit of wait, his thin-lipped wife found the envelope, complaining that he always forgot where he put things right away. Another one. The same. The modus operandi for the sender and recipient was the same as Nanjo's son. The sender was made out to be Kumasawa's son and the recipient was Kumasawa Chiyo. They were the intended receiver. Anyway, this letter was intended to be them or to be sent to them anyways. It was just like this though. And the destination address was in Okinawa Prefecture. Yayama County, Yonaguni City 1234, the same. Yonaguni Island was at the westernmost tip of Japan, and the lot name was the exact same sequential number that had apparently been chosen without much care. So I think they're sending this letter way too far. So I guess after the events of the family conference, the accident there, like it's been several days or weeks since that. So when the letter comes back, it would seem like, yeah, it was sent after. Now, it was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it be returned to the sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A letter with the pin and the bank's main branch written on it. A magnetic card, a key with an attached number plate. But the thing is though, who is this? Beatrice, right? Who is this? Like, did Beatrice go outside of the island? And she herself sent it? How did this happen, right? How? The inscription on the number plate was A113, so basically the next one. The number right after the one on the key that had been sent to Nanjo. Most likely inside the vault was the same kind of Dura Lumen case, packed with 100 million yen in cash.
死んだお袋がメイドから送ってきたような気がしてね。
I want to really know the real story behind this. Dude, we're still in the first episode. We got 4 more episodes to go.
中身もよくわからんし、薄気味悪いんで、ずっとほったらかしにしてて、今日まですっかり忘れてたんですわ。お嬢さんはこれが何かご存知なんですかね？ひょっとして、あんたんとこにも同じものが？
I mean, for her, it's the whole fortune of the Oshirimiya family, though. It's billions, billions, and billions.
どうしたんです？エンジ様。
Yeah, what is she thinking? What did the guy said? I get a feeling my dead mother sent it. I just left it alone all this time and totally forgot about it until day. So you know what this is, girl. Could it be the same kind of thing that came to your place?
ウリオ、頭痛？ごめん。頭が痛い。
Yeah, what triggered Angie right now? Like, what?
刺さってる。知っている。知ってるって何を？まさかこの封筒、エンジ様のところにも？
I've remembered it. A strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. After losing my entire family, I was depressed. But it was a really strange thing to come in the mail, so I still had a faint memory of it. So even her, she got an envelope. It was a strange letter which I had no memory of sending, but which had me as a sender. She was 6 years old back then. I forgot the destination address, but the named recipient had been Ushiromiya Rudolph. My father. I remember how disturbed I was when I got the letter. I thought it was from father, and they opened it up and found a key in the card that I didn't really understand. Yeah, obviously she was 6 years old. I felt left down and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I put that envelope? I probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. By now, I have no way of checking its contents. However, I have a general idea. I'm sure the contents were the same. Without a doubt, there had been a key, a card, and a note with a pin inside the envelope.
Beatrice, これは何のつもりよ。あいつは全ての遺族にこんなふざけた金をばらまいたというの？
So, let's just say it like this. So, let's say the culprit, really, let's say Beatrice, the real culprit. Did she really kill these people? Right? Maybe it was not a fight. I was always thinking like, maybe the family members, there was a trigger and then maybe they fought. Maybe. But maybe Beatrice killed them, like, killed all of them. The real one, I mean, the culprit. Like, really enacted the ritual, the twilights. Maybe, right? But she gave the surviving members that are outside of the island, yeah, the family members of these people, money, so to compensate them, I guess.
死んだ後も愚弄するなんて許せない。
But why though? Sakutaro acted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off bit by bit.
ごめんなさい。ベアトリーチェ憎しは今に始まったことじゃないわ。あの6歳の日に、もうすでにあの魔女と縁があったことに驚きと怒りを感じただけよ。
Honestly, what is up with mysterious things? We had mysterious bottles, now we got mysterious letters that, yes, contain keys to 100 million yen.
この12年間、エンジ様はずっとベアトリージェ様の呪縛にとらわれてきた。これがそのまさに呪縛の証となるのかもしれません。ですがどうかしっかりそれを打ち破るための旅でもあるはずです。
そうね。頭に血を上らせたって何の役にも立たないわ。冷静に考えなくちゃ。これはどういうことなの？遺族に1億円をばらまく意味は何？挑発だとでも言うの？ベアトリーチェめ。
エンジェ、落ち着いて。ウリュウ。
As Sakutaro buried his head in my stomach, he urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking.
この封筒の送付はつまり、ベアトリーチェによる事件の計画性を裏付けるものかしら。
I mean, you could say that. Yeah, support the theory that Beatrice was behind the crime because Beatrice knew that this was gonna happen. This event in the family conference, this ritual was gonna happen, right? That's why she sent money in advance before that. Yeah, that ritual happened.
消印は親族会議の直前。
Yes, it was sent before.
そしてわざと時間をかけて返送されてくるように仕組まれている。
So the families would get this after the incident, after the accident.
事件の後に届くようにしたかったということかな。
うん。そうなるわ。でも、少し疑問もあるの。なぜこんな不確実な方法で？
不確実？
ええ。だって、何日で郵便が戻ってくるかなんて、 事前には想像もできないじゃない。郵送先の郵便局が調査し、送付先不明と判断し返送するまでの期間なんて、普通は想像もできない。
No, but the goal is for the people. Yeah, you wouldn't even know how many days, but the goal is for the people, for the outside people of the families, right? The surviving members of those people would receive it after the incident. I guess it doesn't matter what day, but yeah, it needs to be after the incident.
そういえばそうだね。ちゃんと到着の期日を決めて、そういう郵便で出した方が確実なのにね。うりゅう。まあでも、前日に投函したんなら、どんなに早く戻ってきても、きっと月曜日以降の到着になったでしょうし、死者からの手紙を気取りたかったんじゃないかしら。
I mean, I guess you could say that it adds to the mystery, right? With all the mystery surrounding that incident there, that accident. Yeah, it really adds to it. Like, oh, you got letters from the dead, and gave you money. What?
死者からの手紙か。確かにね。あれは驚くし、嫌な気持ちになるわよ。死んだ家族の名前が表に大きく書かれている郵便物が、物々しい付箋付きで郵便受けに放り込まれているんだから。でも、私は何か腑に落ちないわ。私だったら、期日指定郵便にする。ひょっとしたら、想定しない日に届くかもしれないという不安定さが、私にはどうしても理解できないの。
うりゅう。でも、確かにそういうの、ベアトらしいかなって思う。
え？あなた、ベアトのことわかるの？
ちょっとしかお話ししたことないけど、でも、ベアトならこういうことをするかなってのが、なんとなくわかるの。マモンもなんとなく想像がつかない？ベアトってこういういたずら好きだよね。
I wonder though, did Enje meet Beato? Or no, yeah, but yeah, let's say the like real Beatrice. Because if Maria got her grimoire, her diary, from actual Beatrice, and then we saw like a flashback, right? Earlier, that Enje was playing with Maria on, yeah, Kuwadorian. He was Kuwadorian. Or at least, yeah, outside. Did she ever meet this Beatrice as well? She just doesn't remember? Maybe that's a possibility, right? Who is Beatrice though? Who is Beatrice?
確かにそうかも。ベアトリーチェ様なら、死者からの手紙、みたいな悪質ないたずらはやりかねないと思います。それだけじゃなくて、絶対確実な方法じゃなくて、ちょっぴり不確実な方法の方をベアトリーチェは面白がるの。
不確実な方法を面白がる？
Made it much more fun, I guess. I remembered Maria Onechan's diary. It had described playing with Beatrice very often. During those times, Beato sometimes played pranks on the adult relatives with Maria. Yeah, see, that's why I was saying that in the real world, maybe the real things that had happened, maybe some of the people already knew about Kuwadorian, maybe some of them actually was there, went there. Maybe that's why, like Ava, right? Why was Ava found in Kuwadorian after the incident? Like, she was there alone. Didn't they say that? But those pranks always had a touch of witch aesthetics. which was that they were no more interesting when they were uncertain. One day, Maria Onechan and Beato decided to use a wind-up minicar she had bought for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time, and if you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the springs and the tires, and when you let it go, it would race forwards. They had wound up that minicar and set it up behind a milk jug. In other words, the prank was that if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, Onechan and Beatrice had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing someone get caught by it, but no one moved the trapped milk jug and the trap ended in a misfire. When Onechan had then muttered, "We should have put it somewhere where it would have definitely caught someone," Beato apparently said this. She said, "The most interesting and thrilling traps are those where you don't know who will get caught or even if anyone will get caught at all." And remember last time, right? When Kinzo was talking to the survivors in the dungeon, Nanjo said that Kuwadorian was connected to the mansion, right? So yeah, you like Beatrice could go there back and forth and then play tricks there or make some tricks with Maria. The problem is though, how many times do for example Maria Rosa go into Rokinjima Island? Like whenever they're showing like stuff like this, it seems like they've been living there, right? We don't have any timeline, is what I'm saying. Like, oh, Maria and Rosa went to Rokinjima this day, and then they came back after 6 months, after 7 months. I don't know. It's probably true that you wouldn't get this kind of excitement from a trap that would certainly go off. Similar accounts occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had a fickle character and loved a random thrill. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I can't spin the chessboard around to find out that witch from 12 years ago was planning, or what that witch. Such a nice video today. Such a nice one. As Anja examined this, her gaze darted from place to place. Then she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, several framed pictures were hung. Many of them were commemorative photos from when the relatives of the Kumasawa family gathered or went somewhere to play, and Kumasawa was in several. And she still wore a smile that made it so you could almost hear her lighthearted ho 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 laugh. It's part of my distant memory, but I definitely remember that she was sort of this cheerful old lady.
熊沢さんは事件の直前に変わった様子はありましたか?
Can we not actually see that? I wanna see it.
いやー
Sabakichi.
いつも通りに見えたな。親族会議はピリピリするから辛い辛いと漏らすのはいつものことでしたし。
これは?
But yeah, look at how rich Kumasawa's son is. Look at the house. This is not a normal person's house. It's a rich person's house. Among the several frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. It was a picture of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something. You couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit, as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. As I got closer, I realized that some characters had been written with a pen.
ああ、それはお袋の形見分けでもらってきた写真ですわ。
This is the chapel, right? Yeah, the entrance to the chapel. But I don't remember the lion though. I don't remember that.
多分例の黄金伝説に関係したやつではないかと。
I think it probably has something to do with the legend of the gold thing. Was there a lion there when we went to the chapel in the second episode?
魔女の碑文ですか。10トンの黄金の隠し場所を示すと噂される。熊沢さんも挑んでおられたんですね。でも、これは碑文じゃない。
Man, I doubt it that she tried to solve it as well, right? I highly doubt it. And then it's picture framed right now?
初めて見るものです。
Maybe this is the way. The actual way. Yeah, to the location of the hidden 10 tons gold. There was an arch above the western style door and that's where the relief was. English words were engraved there and that seemed to what the picture was focused on. The pen writing appeared to be a translation into Japanese.
この扉は1000兆分の1の確率でしか開かない。あなたは1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されない。知らないわ。こんな文章、碑文にもお姉ちゃんの日記にも出てこない。
Yes.
お袋の遺品の中に碑文の謎解きに挑戦してると思われる写真やノートが結構出てきたんですわ。
So maybe she was. I mean, I guess the epitaph was there for a long time, but no one was really like solving it. Like, or no one really did care, I guess. But for Kumasawa, as long as she was in the island, maybe she was doing, trying to solve it little by little. That's why she has pictures like this.
お袋も案外そういうのが好きだったんだな。
Maybe trying to find a way, yeah, if she can find the 10-ton gold.
なんでも10トンの金塊が隠されてたって噂だ。そりゃあお袋も夢中になるはずですわ。
In both Maria Onechan's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It had talked about how it was a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land, Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, and Beatrice's succession ceremony. On and on and on. Maybe the most interesting one was the last part about it being a succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only 10 tons of gold and the Oshiromiya family inheritance, but her own magical power and name as well as the title of the Golden Witch. Oh my god. Among the Oshiromiya family household at the time, the witch's epitaph was though of a difficult quiz which the family had Kinzo had arranged to choose his successor, but with the mariage sorcière interpretation, the questioner was Beatrice herself, and she had posed the question in part to choose her successor. There were slight discrepancies in the details of the two interpretations. Either way, its ominous contents brought to mind a bloody serial murder, and both of the message bottles drew tale of the crime following the pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose the same or some plot made back then. But I think this was solved, and then maybe something happened after that, or maybe while they were solving it, maybe the real Beatrice started attacking them, started killing them one by one. Could be, right? You can have a lot of interpretations on what happened that day, but we need the definite one, the definitive story. I want it. I need it. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. It seems that the many witch hunters tried as well. I also found theories like the La Plata theory and the Enora theory in certain books. However, neither of these theories were conclusive.
他にも資料が？
あると思うけど、兄弟で適当に分けたからな。誰が何を持ってるやらさっぱりですわ。申し訳ない。
この熊沢さんが撮影した英文だけ読むと、めったに開かれない開かずの扉という印象を受ける。
So we found a door with a lion. I need to read that. Door with a lion on the side. Let me write that. Maybe it's helpful. I mean, we can't really like input anything while playing this game, but I want to just write it. Door with a lion. I'll write it down. So maybe we can remember this in the future.
でも、これは屋敷のどこかしら。光の具合から屋外みたいだけど、熊沢さんはこの中にその黄金が隠されていると睨んでたのかしら。
さあ、いずれにせよ六軒島の屋敷のどこかでしょうな。
Where in the Rokenjima mansion it was?
お袋の預金口座には残念だが黄金を発見したと思えるようなお金は入ってませんでしたよ。
So I guess, I mean, yeah, she died, so, or she was, yeah, missing, presumed dead.
さすがに見つからんかったんでしょうな。
No, but I mean, that's why, Sabakichi had access to her, or to his mom's bank account after that. The Golden Witch Beatrice gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Oshiromiya family. The witch holding this vast wealth had massacred the humans in Rokenjima on that day, sending large amount of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Yeah, like compensation. Oh, by the way, your family member is gone, so this is 100 million yen. So I can compensate you so you can be a little bit happier. Come on. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is a desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced when my family died on that island that day that they didn't go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now and are being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. But yeah, imagine this, right? The bodies were missing. Imagine if the people were still alive, but yeah, they were locked in cages for 12 years. Imagine that. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. That is not possible for sure, but that would be a crazy story. Like for example, in the end, what happened really when the island, they all got captured instead of being killed. And then they were put in cages underneath Koadorian, and they're still there for 12 years. Imagine if that was the ending, right? Like we would see like grown-up Maria, grown-up Jessica, much more older George, of course. Butler, oh my god. That would be cool. That would be cool. But I highly doubt it though. Highly doubt that. The last place Angie visited was a store in the region between the housing district and the retail stores with a signboard saying Marufuku Sleep Shop. What is that? Cake? Fruit cake? There lived the man who had been the boat captain of the ferry boat to Rokenjima at the time. Oh, okay. Even he... Did he also get some money? Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness, and was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife.
よく覚えてる。
Captain Kawabata.
あんた、まだこんなに小さかった。
Have we ever seen this guy's face? I don't think so, right? I think this is the first time.
立派になったな。そして、さぞや辛かっただろう。お前さんの気持ち、よくわかるぞ。
The former boat captain was in such high spirits that you could really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear too, and he could remember the events of more than a decade ago. Well, apparently even about how Angie had been at the time. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Angie. But at the same time, he also remembered the final family conference very well. And the fact that he remembered even details like Butler's fall madness on the boat was actually painful for her. Also, I guess when Butler couldn't handle the boat, like he was like in the first episode, right, when they were heading to Rokenjima, he was nauseous, seasick, I guess. It had been so back then as well, but even now there was no public way to cross Rokenjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of a boat to make the voyage. I'd been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokkenjima, so if he refused me, such a voyage would probably become hopeless.
わかってる。今、あの島に行きたがる船なんぞ、簡単には見つからんだろう。今じゃ六軒島と呼ばず、古い名前の悪食島と呼ぶ者までおる。
But yeah, I guess you would be scared as well. Maybe people would be scared to cross that or to go there, to even get near that place because of the incident.
この辺りの船乗りじゃ、首を縦には振るまいな。
Yeah, people might think it's cursed, right? Yeah. From the start, fishermen had feared Rokkenjima as an island of misfortune. And because of the incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached its peak. So maybe no one really wants to go near that place anymore. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokkenjima, so no one would really bring them there. And were limited to taking a trip around the island. Only around. I guess, yeah, you can just go around the island, then see if... But yeah, it's pretty much a very, very thick island full of forests, right? Full of trees, I mean. Ironically, this had caused the same sense of mystery surrounding Rokkenjima to increase even more, which had resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories they love so much.
船は出してもらえるでしょうか?
He's gonna say no.
うん。
Oh, he said yes.
明日だけ返してもらう約束になっとる。
They're supposed to give it back to me for just tomorrow.
最近はエンジンがだいぶご機嫌斜めらしいがな。かっ飛ばしてやるわい。
The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokkenjima. Yes. Now my method of transport to Rokkenjima is insured. This is probably all I can do on Nijima. All that's left is tomorrow. On Rokkenjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years. I wonder, what does Rokkenjima look like now?
よかったね。
It really is.
これで島へ行けるようになったね。
そうね。船を見つけるのは難しいと聞いていたから、船長が協力的で助かったわ。
園児様ほどではないにしても、船長にとっても12年前の事件は未だ抜けないトゲなんでしょうね。
ウリュウ、船長さんも心の整理がつかなかったんだね。ずっと。
そりゃそうでしょう。約束通り10月5日にあのじいさんが船を出してくれれば大勢が助かった可能性がある。ちょっと風が強いからといって船を絞らなければ。
ウリュウ、そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ。船長さんもそれを今日までずっと苦しんできたはずだよ。
Apparently, they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they'd be trapped by the typhoon if he headed to Rokkenjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of their conference, which had been determined beforehand. It was only natural. All of the relatives had been very busy at the time, and they came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week just because a typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault, but perhaps you could say that he wasn't so irresponsible that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two said, there's no doubt that the boat captain has been dragging the events of the 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And by taking me, the last member of the Ushirimiya line, into the island and bringing me back safely, he might be trying to find some resolution for his past.
船は昼過ぎに帰ってくることになってる。 それからあんたを六軒島へ案内するから、到着は夕方前になるだろう。電気も明かりもない島だ。あまり長いはできんぞ。その程度の上陸で、あんたの気は済むかね？
長い舌から何かの気が済むというものでもありませんし、船を出してもらえるだけでも感謝します。
うん、すまんな。わしが船を手放していなければ、ケチなことを言わず、好きなだけ島へ案内してやれるんだが。
It's not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on Rokkenjima, so I'll be there during the evening. The evening, which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Or possibly 1998 and 1986, and it felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkenjima. It's not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At that time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I nodded back and told him about how I succeeded in reserving the boat for tomorrow.
それはよかった。そろそろ参りましょう。船長、明日はよろしくお願いします。
Captain, El Capitan.
おう、任せておけ。お前さんたちの難儀な事情も聞いとる。わしも当時のワイドショーを見ていて、面白半分に事件をかき回す連中に虫唾が走っとったもんだ。協力は惜しまんよ。
ありがとうございます。それでは明日お昼に。これ船代に。
Angie took a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed its thickness as well, but he paid it absolutely no interest and shook his head.
わしはお前さんに感謝しとるよ。これは天のお導きだ。あんたを六軒島へ連れて行き、そして無事に連れ帰る最後のチャンスをくださったんだ。わしは金蔵さんに任されていた最後の仕事を、今、ようやく終えることができる。だからあんたには感謝してる。金は、当時の金蔵さんからたらふくもらってる。あんたから取れんよ。
ありがとうございます。
階段、足元に気をつけてな。急だぞ。
I went down a steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store with many futons piled up on each other. Look at that amount of futons. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop. After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car.
孫の部屋が空いとる。泊まって行っても構わんのに。見ての通り、布団なら有り余っとるぞ。
ありがとうございます。万一の時、ご迷惑はかけられませんので。
事情は知らんが、相当な厄介に巻き込まれてるようだな。うさんくさい連中が人探しをしていると噂になっとる。あんたのことじゃないのかね？
さあ。
Angie played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed.
わしは六軒島を目指す客人を送り届け、そして迎えに行き、連れ帰ることが仕事だった。その仕事を12年前に中断したまま、 まだ終えてない。だからわしは、あんたのおかげでその仕事をようやく終えることができるんだ。だから、わしにその仕事を終えさせてくれよ。わかってるな。
ええ、別に私は死にに行くんじゃない。
But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I'd truly be able to go to where my family is. I finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way heading towards Rokkenjima in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die.
ええ、死にません。約束します。そもそも私、どうして六軒島に行かなくてはならないのかの目的さえ、未だにあやふやなんですから。
いや、目的はきっとある。あんたにないなら、それは彼らにあるんだ。島があんたを呼んだ。だからあんたはここまで来たんだ。
そうかもしれませんね。私は、呼ばれたのかもしれない。
I was called. For what reason? For them. Father, Mother Oni-chan, and Butler Oni-chan, and Maria One-chan, or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is Rokkenjima? And what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost there, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was a sound of a car stopping in front of the store and a short honk could be heard.
それでは明日、失礼します。
Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then my feet stopped.
どうしたね？
あれは？
あれ？はて、何の話だね？
What? Trembling all over, I pointed at it. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in the direction that should have surprised me. That must mean...
ありえない。
Other, are you serious? Can we go back?
どうして？
ウリュウ。レンジ、どうして？どういうことなのこれは。
私にだってさっぱりだわ。そんなバカなことってあるの？
Can you actually return in this one? No, you cannot. We cannot.
これは魔法なの？奇跡なの？ええ。多分これは運命よ。私は今理解したわ。これが私の使命だったのよ。
ウリュウ。
私には何が何だか。
Go back! Shaking, I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store and froze up.
どうしたんだね？
Okay, is there something here that we can see actually, or was it like, she just pointing on something? Okay, I think I see it now. You see that yellow thing on the left side? My mouse is not captured by OBS, so you cannot see it. But you see that left side, on the left side, you see that plastic there and that yellow thing? You see that ring? The circle? Like, isn't that Sakutaro's, what do you call that again? Stuffed toy. We don't have a picture, but yeah, isn't Sakutaro made by Rosa? Or Rosa? Like, look at Sakutaro's feet. You see that? You see that? You see that? You see that? Is there anything more here? But yeah, basically that. The circle. Look at this picture on the left side. The circle there, it's his tail. Okay.
何があるんだね。わからん。わしにはわからん。あんたには何が見えてるのかね。
ありがとう、船長。全部、これは運命だったんです。
It was fate. Look, she's tearing up. So what? Sakutaro was mass produced anyways? It was not made by Rosa?
ここに私が訪れることさえ運命だった。これが私が六軒島へ行く目的で使命なんです。
Because yeah, when you saw Mamon even react, right? Earlier?
エンジさん、どうしました？トラブルですか？
I mean, she's not saying it to them because they wouldn't understand anyways. Yeah.
わしにもさっぱりわからん。お嬢ちゃんが暗がりを指さしたまま固まっちまったんだ。
エンジさん。
But yeah, dude, look at it. It's Sakutaro's plushie right there.
大丈夫ですか？何が見えるんですか？
You could literally see it, see? Sure, it's not showing the whole body, but it's showing the tail.
あなたたちには見えないの？それよ、それ。
I mean, they wouldn't even know what that is, though, even if you show it to them.
見えないの？
Or they cannot actually see it?
見えるのはただの陳列棚です。誰も言いやしませんぜ。
ウリュウ、エンジェ、僕には何が何だかわからないよ。これは夢なの？魔法なの？どういうことなの？エンジェ？
Sakutaro lifted his face towards Angie. From her eyes slid a single tear.
エンジ様、理解したわ。お姉ちゃん、そしてベアトリーチェ。
ウリュウ。
This is magic, isn't it? God damn, dude. This chapter was way too good. I think this is the best chapter in this game so far, or in this episode. This is the best chapter. Yeah. That chapter was so good. No joke. So good. From giving us mysteries about these letters, and now showing Sakutaro's plushie stuffed animal right there. I don't know if they actually couldn't see it, or they don't know what she was pointing at. But it was there. Sakutaro's plushie was there. So if you say that it was there, so Sakutaro could be brought back. Rosa did not create Sakutaro. Right? It was not one of a kind anymore. But yeah, it was Sakutaro. The stuffed animal was there. Sure, it may not be the same stuffed animal as the one Maria had, but it was there. Okay. That was really good. Best chapter in this episode so far. Best. The best. The best, the best, the best. It shed a lot of mysteries, or given us a lot of mysteries for the actual story of the game. From the real culprit. Sure, it was not, they didn't reveal who it is. But from the fact that the culprit, or yeah, Beatrice, sent those letters to the family members. Sent them 100 million yen to basically like compensate them, because she knew that, yeah, something was gonna happen in the family conference and everyone might die. That's why it was sent before the meeting, the family conference. So good. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it as well, because I enjoyed it a lot. So we're gonna continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry episode 4 in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.